If you're new here, I'm Tamara, and I'm sharing my journey and experience of growing on an 18 by 18 concrete patio in central North Carolina. I started videoing this outside, but we have apartments right behind us and they're doing their landscaping today, so it is super loud. So I'm recording from in here and you get to see Val. This is my kitty cat. Say hi, Val. Hi. He's very needy. So what I'm doing today is I have some chores to do in the garden. It's the first nice day in a while. It's been cold, it's been rainy, and today it's gonna be 73 and sunny. It's 60 degrees right now. It's gorgeous outside. So perfect day to do some gardening. One challenge I have with my setup is that I have the patio in the back and the garage in the front, and all my materials are in the garage, so I usually have to carry my soil bags and everything all through the house. Today I have to prepare 2 GreenStalks that came in the mail. So what I need to do for that is mix up the soil. Last year was the first year I had a GreenStalk, and I was really stupid and didn't really pay attention to the fact that I needed potting soil. So I just used raised bed soil, and that was so compact. This year I looked into getting the Fox Farm, but that's just so expensive. I wanted to see if I could kind of hack it first. We have a Costco membership. So in the past we always got the raised bed mix there, but I noticed that they had a potting mix. So I was like, okay, let's get that. And when I opened it up to get my GreenStalks that I already have out there ready, I was shocked to see that it was still so dense. There was like nothing in it to fluff it up. So I ran out and I got some vermiculite. And I also had earthworm castings from Costco. I also got some Fox Farm organic fertilizer. I figured I'd try that first if I couldn't afford to get just a bunch of the Fox Farm, to get some of the fertilizer and amend the soil really well. So what I ended up doing was, for one 5-tier GreenStalk, I used 2 bags of soil of the Costco Miracle Grow organic potting mix, 2 bags of vermiculite, 1 bag of earthworm castings, and 4 cups of the Fox Farm all-purpose fertilizer. I dump that all out on a tarp, and I mix it up with my hands and with a shovel, and then I scoop it into the GreenStalk. When I did that, that was just enough to fill 5 tiers with about 3 to 4 inches left at the top, or maybe more like 2 to 3 inches. And then I used some compost to top those off. So today I have 2 3-tier ones. So I'm going to use the same formula. It might not fill it up quite as much. And then I have 1 bag of compost to put on top of that. So I need to prep the GreenStalks. I also need to do some transplanting of some seedlings, and I also, once I get the GreenStalk set up, I need to plant into those. And I also want to get some seedlings for summer flowers started. So that's my to-do list today. So I'm ready to mix up my soil. Like I said before, the formula I tried, don't know if it's gonna work, but this is what I did in my other GreenStalks. is I have 2 bags of the Miracle Grow Organic Choice potting mix from Costco. These are 50 quart bags, so a total of 100 quarts. I have 1 bag of the earthworm castings from Costco. This is, I don't know how many quarts, it says 12 pounds. And then I have 2 bags of the horticultural vermiculite from, this is from Lowe's, I think. And then I also have some of the, put my shovel down, some of the Fox Farm all-purpose fertilizer. When I was reading the back, I feel like I miscalculated this, but I somehow calculated 4 cups for however much other crap I have. I don't know if that's right, but we'll just go with it. I can always add more later, but at least that just kind of gets it started. And what I like is that this has the active soil microbes, so it just kind of gets some good stuff getting in there. All right, let's mix it up. This is where it starts to get messy and sweaty. I wanted to pause for a second and show you up close the potting mix without anything in it. It's, you know, kind of light, but there's nothing in it to make it fluffy, nothing to help aerate the soil. So that's why I went out and I got some vermiculite. So let's go ahead and mix it up. Might be a little hard to see in the sun, but now you can see there's just a little more fluffiness to it. Just kind of rolls off a little better. So that just feels better. Now it's time to go ahead and fill up these beautiful lemon green stalks. I don't have the rolling base like I got for the tall green stalks. That just wasn't going to be in the budget. I figured since these are shorter, they're only 3 tiers, they would be a little lighter and easier to rotate. But I did go ahead and I got this from Costco just to kind of use this year to be able to spin them around and move them if needed. And then next year, if I feel like I need it, I can go ahead and get the actual GreenStalk bases. So I just filled the yellow green stalks. I was a little worried that trying to stretch it to 6 tiers was going to be a little too much and that I might have to go out and get a bag of soil, but it actually did a pretty good job. So GreenStalk wants you to fill to the top, and I know it's not to the top, but what I did with these ones was I topped it off with a couple inches of compost. So I have this bag of compost. I did 1 bag per 5 tier, so this is gonna have to cover 6 tiers and hopefully it'll make it. I might be an inch or 2 short, but it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. All right, so now I have the compost in the yellow green stalks. Let me show you how beautiful that looks. I actually ended up having plenty, and there's still just a little bit left over to fill in any spaces that I might need. So now I'm looking at what I need to get planted out. So I have my little plants here. My plants are changing a bit though, because I went to Lowe's today and I did not expect them to have this, but they had beautiful looking strawberry plants. So Figure, why the hell not? I'll give it a try. So I got 6 of these to put on the top of one of the GreenStalks, which I was hoping to do at some point. So if they had them and they looked really nice, I figured I would go ahead and do that. So my original plan for these 3 GreenStalks, or the 3-tier GreenStalks, was just a little bit of some experimentation. So on the bottom tier for each of these, so first of all, let me backtrack a little bit. On the bigger beds behind me, I need to transplant some purple broccoli and some cabbages. So I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm just curious to try the cabbages and the broccoli and the GreenStalks. I know you're supposed to be able to do it. It still just seems a little crazy to me that something that big could grow in something so small, and it would take up a lot of space in the GreenStalk. But I'm going to use the bottom tier of each of those to try out a couple of cabbages and a couple of broccolis. So the other thing that I was going to be trying out in these GreenStalks was lettuce. I've never planted lettuce before. I'm not a huge salad person, but if I am going to eat salad, like, I want to be able to just kind of pick the little bits that I want. So what I have here are this Marvel of the 4 Seasons. I'm gonna plant some of that. I have this Little Gem mini romaine. I'm gonna try that. And then I have a salad bowl blend. I also was going to plant some spinach. I might still throw some in there, who knows. But I have some spinach that I planted in the top of one of the other ones. I was also going to use this space to plant some of these carrots. I did carrots in the beds in the fall, this specific type, the Shin Kuroda one. And these did really, really well in the beds, but I needed to use the beds for bigger things. So all my carrots are kind of scattered in other places. I have some in the bigger GreenStalks. We'll see how that does. But I figured if I had the room, I might as well throw some of these in the GreenStalk. I am also planting a lot of herbs. So next to the cabbages, I was gonna do some scallions. I have seeds here, but I actually have these I started maybe a month and a half ago. They're still kind of spindly. I don't know how these are gonna transplant, but I figure some of them came out. I figure I'll give it a try, see if I can separate some out and stick them in there. That way that helps with the pests a little bit. And then I was also going to do some herbs, oregano or thyme or something that'll also supposedly help with the pests. And then I'll leave an empty pocket to plant some marigold in there, which I'm gonna get seed starting this week, since that also helps with pests. So I'll be doing the same thing for the other one, but with broccoli on the bottom. Another thing I have been planting a lot of is alyssum. I keep hearing that is a great pest repellent, especially for cabbage worms. So I have some here that I seed started. These ones are the alyssum. So I'll tuck some of those into some of the tiers. And then also I've been doing a lot of dill and parsley seeds, so a lot of pockets with just some dill and parsley waiting to go, because that's supposed to help with the pests as well. And I freaking love dill. So I'm Ukrainian. Dill is in my blood. So I want a lot of it. I've never had luck growing dill. It does get so hot here. And I've done the bouquet dill before, but I wanted to try this tetra dill since it looks a little bushier. So I've planted this and parsley, because I love parsley too, in so many spots in the garden just randomly for pest control. Just dill and parsley everywhere, hoping that I get a bunch that grows and I can harvest it before it gets too hot and freeze it or dry it. So that's my plan. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the strawberries on the top of one, and then just kind of figure out how I want to do the rest. What I've been doing, what I did with the other ones, was I have these little teeny tiny plant markers, and I'll just write the crop and the date and stick it in before I put the seeds in. That way I can kind of make sure I have everything I want before I start sticking things in the soil. So that is what I'm gonna do, along with the broccolis that I need to put into, or the broccolis and the cabbage that I need to put into the beds. So it is the next day. It is 73 degrees outside. I just got back from the park with my kid, and then dropping him off at daycare. So I just have a little bit of time before going to work, but I wanted to kind of do an overview of the way things were yesterday. So the big project yesterday was getting these filled. So on the top I have all the strawberries that I transplanted. On this one I have a salad bowl blend and Shin Kuroda carrots. So I did 4 pockets of the carrots and 2 pockets of the salad bowl blend. Like I said, these carrots I had really good results with last year. This bottom tier is a little bit of a chaotic hodgepodge. So I did 3 broccolis. I did 1 every other pocket, and then in these other pockets I just threw seedlings I had. So this is some alyssum. This I think is thyme, might be oregano, but mostly thyme. And then over here, so these were the scallions I was trying to transplant. I don't think they're gonna make it. I literally just kind of pushed them in here. They don't look so great. I pushed 1 in each of these broccoli pockets too, but I was just getting so frustrated with that. I'm gonna let it do its thing. If it dies, it dies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This I think is oregano. There's another broccoli. These are all purple broccolis. And then this was an experiment where I tried just grabbing a block of these. See, this one's not even in the ground. I tried grabbing a block of these right out of the thing I had it starting in, and it just like disintegrated. So did not go the way I planned. This one on the top I have spinach alternating with little finger carrots. So 3 spinach, 3 little fingers. Here I have romaine alternating with 4 seasons, so 3 of each. And then on the bottom of this one I have red cabbage. On the other side I have a green cabbage. This one, instead of doing every other, I did only 2 of them since the cabbage can get pretty big. Some more alyssum, some more thyme. What did I do over here? Dill seeds. I have parsley seeds. I have more of the scallions I tried transplanting. Some other stuff I did yesterday was, so these are my broccoli transplants that I put in a week or 2 ago, and they're looking pretty good. I have this alyssum that I transplanted. I did have a bunch of leeks and scalings that I had tried transplanting before, and as you can see, they're just blech. So I ripped out what I could, and then I planted new seeds. I know it might be too late for that, but this year's motto with the garden is just fuck around, find out. So here I have 2 beds of purple broccoli. Then I have 2 Copenhagens, I think, and 2 red cabbage. And then this is some alyssum that I also transplanted, and I'm waiting for scallions and herbs to come in on the corners of all of these. And I also did a row of scallions in front of all the brassicas. I was a little traumatized by those cabbage worms. This was a new rosemary that I repotted because this is the rosemary that I have. She's not looking so good, so I figured it was time to just refresh that. I'm really happy with how my transplants are looking here. They're a little floppy right now. I need to water them again. But these are transplants I did on February 25th, and it's March 5th. What, like 8 days? So they've definitely grown. They're looking quite nice. Here's some more alyssum I put in. I didn't see any seeds sprouting on this tower, I don't think. I go over here. no, these are all kale. So this entire thing is mostly kale with some stuff for pest control. So on the bottom I had all lacinato kale, and then I have dazzling blue, dwarf curl, dazzling blue, dwarf curled. So there's a lot on here. And then on this one was all seeds. And I'm starting to have a few things coming up. So I have some spinach starting to poke its way through. I also noticed something here, but that does not look like a leek. So I don't know if something just fell there on accident, but I guess we'll find out. Oh, there was something popping up on this side. Forgot. I have calendula coming through on the top, and there's some on the other side as well. So just to give you the overview of my space, so as I was saying, we have this awkward corner here where we have the gas line and the AC and the circuit breaker. So it's kind of some dead space, can't really use it. We have a grill. We have a table. If it were up to me, honestly, I would get rid of the table because it's too damn hot to eat outside in North Carolina, and just get some like legit raised beds, but gotta compromise with my husband here. So I did a little rearranging and moved the table toward the corner. Last year I actually had the cedar bed there, and that doesn't get as much sun, and the table used to be a little more in the middle. So when I cleaned up the patio, I moved that toward the corner a little bit, and we have some chairs over there and a little side table for that. And then over here I just have all of my pots, and then these, they're kind of spread out all weird, but I figure this way they get a lot of sun, and then if I'm ever out here doing something, I can just roll them away now. So that is my space. As you can see, our patio table right now is not really usable. I have a lot of my seedlings out here that I was hardening off, and I also was toying around with a little bit of winter sowing, just kind of as an experiment. So actually worked really well. I have a lot of stuff growing, so if things go haywire in the planters, I have some backup, so I'm just going to keep that all here. But yeah, that's my space, my little teeny tiny patio, no grass, all concrete. So it is possible. We'll see how much we can get out of it this year, so keep growing where you're at.